How do you manage migration of SAP PI communication channels with content conversion? It is one of the challenging things, and with this new release, the 2401, we have added some improvement that makes this a lot simpler. So here we have a sender adapter that is able to process some messages. If we look at this ICO, it has both a sender and a receiver that is using content conversion. And this is obviously normally a problem when you're needing to do migrations. We have also added another component as a part of this. This is the ability to enable message logging. And one of the things that you'll see here is, if we enable this one and process it, that the messages will be processed and they would then have the payload log. That means we can actually check the original message for these scenarios. If we want to go to the Figaf tool and record this, we go in here. So this is the progressive web app that we have. You can also open it in your browser. Normally you will then go to recording here. You can go and you can then check this record original payload. That will enable you to actually take these payloads and enable you to use this. You can also find this setting here on the configuration as a global one. Under the recording here, record adapted payloads, and here it gives you information that this user log should be true, and if it's JSON, it is the same process. So we will record it, and we'll just record messages. We will add it to a test suite here. File content conversion. We will fetch specific messages, and we'll just make sure this flag is on. And we can then select the message that has just been processed here, 46. This means that we can now fetch the payloads of this scenario. It takes a few seconds. And if we create this test case and look at it, we will be able to see the payloads here. We can see that they are, so we can see that this is the text payloads that we have in this case. All in all, this is what we want. Next is we want to migrate this. So we just select here, migrate. We select the package. Let's just add it into Figaf test 2. An example. We will use the profile type that is local process. We do not want to retry on for the scenario. Here you can then see that you have this option with the file channels. We don't really want to mess with this. We obviously have our ignore rules. And if you already have migrated something, you just need to say override share content, then it will fetch the original payload. We can do that. And we can see the Groovy scripts that will be created for these ones. So just say override here. We can do a check again. It comes up with some warnings also to check the RFC, that's okay, or the communication channels, that's okay. And now we have migrated this, and if we just want to look here, what we can see is that we have created this normally as you would expect it in the processing. Then we have added this specific code that contains the full content conversion structure that will be needed here. We have the structure, everything else in this place. We can obviously go test it if we want to. And the same for the receiver, and this is the part that is new for this one. Custom event. That we set this value here. Good. Good. So now we have migrated this. When we want to test it, we just select migrate our test cases. Select the test case we just create, migrate to the CPI iFlow, add it to our test suite, and then we can select which message we want to process for this. We can see it here. And now we have migrated the test case. We can go and we can test this. Just need a license for it. And when we are testing this, we would send this is using FTP in some format, and we do not have access to do process test on that. But what the Figaf tool will do is it will just create a new version of this iFlow, and here you will then be able to see everything that goes into the scenarios. We can see it has been processed. Last time this was not accessible, but let's just do it here. So here we can see the process that is going on. If we look at the original payload that we receive here, we can see that this is the text as we expected. At the center, we now have the XML version of this payload, which makes it easier to understand what is going on. Then we have the XML to CSV that takes the XML file and then converts it into a content converted file as we have described and as we wanted it to be like. And this just simplifies the process. And if we go back to the test case here, refresh, we can see now that this is compared successfully. We can see that we are comparing the original payload with this content, and this just makes it a lot easier to understand what is going on. So here in a few minutes, you saw me take and create a test case with content converter in for both sender and receiver. You saw me migrate it, and you saw me test it all in the tool in 6 minutes of that it ends up with. So thanks for watching. I hope this is interesting. You can obviously try out the tool by going to figaf.com and sign up for the tool there. If you want to see more on the release notes, see the links in the comments.